Hello viewers, welcome to Ohio Airgun Shooter. Before I jump into the video, please hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. For those of you who are already subscribed, welcome back. For those of you who are just now finding my channel, thank you so much for joining me. So, in this video, I just want to discuss one of the reasons you should probably own some sort of chronograph. A lot of times you're shooting your air guns and you have no idea how fast they shoot. Yeah, these are great for, knowing, the feet per second, whatever speed you're doing, etc. But they also play a key role in maintenance and to how well your air guns are performing, especially when it comes to, say, like springers or your gas piston air rifles, even with CO2 powered air guns. I mean, usually a leak will tell you right away that something's there's a problem, but it could be shooting like really sporadically or really slow, and you might have up and down numbers, which you don't even know if you don't have a chronograph. I mean, you might be wondering why your projectiles are, just shooting all over the place on a target. Like you can't get any groups at all. It could be due to the fact that your gun's underperforming. There could be something wrong with it. Like, for instance, with a spring piston powered air rifle, such as this model, RWS model 34, you may have a blown seal and you don't even know. So, I mean, if you're shooting it and you run over a chronograph and, it should be shooting, say, into the 7, like with this is a 22 caliber, it should be shooting probably, the high 6 to 7 to probably even the mid 7s, maybe low 800s, depending on the size of your pellet. But if, it's shooting like below that, then you probably know that you have a blown seal in it. I mean, the same thing goes for this Stoeger X20. This is a S2 synthetic. It's an older model. They're not available anymore, but it's also a spring piston. It kind of feels and shoots more like a gas piston, but it is a spring piston. But again, you could be shooting, great, 1 week during an outing, and then, your groups, you're shooting pretty good groups, depending on your scope, and, you make sure all your screws are tight, and then you put it away, bring it back out, and take a few shots. It's doing great. And then all of a sudden, it just starts shooting wherever, your group just opens up. I mean, depending on the weight of your pellet, depending on what the feet per second are, you could have a blown seal if it's all of a sudden shooting like really low or to the left, to the right, or if you just can't group. So that can mean that you also have a blown seal. So if you have a chronograph, you can run it over, and depending on what your specifications are for your air gun, how fast it's supposed to shoot with a certain weight pellet, you'll know right from the get-go if it's shooting, say really low feet per second, you'll know you have a blown seal. Like, for instance, I had a old RWS Diana model 52. It was in 25 caliber. I bought it from, I think, off a gun broker. It was out of an estate sale. Beautiful gun, loved it. It was a side lever. Actually came with that Nico Sterling scope that I have on top of this model 34. But I grouped it at about 15-20 yards because I wanted to take it out squirrel hunting. But I get out there and I can't hit anything with it. A squirrel was probably about, I don't know, not even 20 yards, and I just couldn't hit it. I'm like, what the heck is going on with this? So I kept it and tried again. It just got frustrating, so I eventually just sold it. And then the guy that I sold it to, he ran it over the chronograph and found out that it had a blown seal. So I mean, I sold it pretty cheap because, you know, I wanted to get rid of it, and this guy was looking for kind of a project gun. So but you know, I sold it to him, and I told him I was having issues with it, and he ran it over the chronograph, and he immediately found out that it had a blown seal. So these are definitely well worth owning when it comes to the maintenance of your air guns. I mean, it even, you know, just with the Daisy Red Ryder, it's also, you know, a spring piston air gun. I've had this one for well over 20 years, so I can run it over the chronograph and see what it's shooting, and you know, and see how well the seal is in that. I mean, as long as you keep them well oiled, you know, they should, you know, maintain, you know, have a longevity for the seals. Another thing is, you know, a lot of times you store these spring pistons standing up in your gun cabinets or wherever you have them. And if you do any oiling, a lot of times the oils will go down into the piston. So when you shoot it, you know, you bring it out of the cabinet, throw a pellet in it, and your first shot, you know, sounds like a rimfire rifle. That's because, you know, with all that oil built up, it could be dieseling. So, I mean, one way to kind of help with that is use a heavier pellet when you first get it out. You know, after it's been standing up for, you know, say a few months, you know, use a heavier pellet, which will kind of help slow down that dieseling effect. So it shouldn't have that much. I mean, dieseling can definitely ruin your seals. So that's definitely one thing you do not want. That's just when the oil combusts with the pressure from the slam of the piston against the pellet or the breech or whatever, and you have an explosion. So yeah, it's definitely a bad thing. A lot of people do it, and you know, it's just it ruins your guns, your air guns. So I would not do it. But I'm going to take a few of these, run them over the chronograph. I haven't done it since I got the chronographs, so I want to see how well these are shooting. They're my hunting rifles. I don't use them a lot except for during hunting season. They're a little bit too powerful for the backyard with my neighbors. I mean, unless you got a really good backstop, and they will punch holes in houses, fences, and etc. So they're not magnums, but they are pretty strong, especially the model 34 up there. But I'm gonna set up the chronograph, and we'll run some numbers with each of these. Even the Daisy, this old Daisy CO2. I mean, I did a review on this, but you know, we could do some numbers with that, and of course the Daisy Red Ryder. And then I'll just be using, these are both 22 caliber, the Stoeger and the Model 34. And just for testing, I'm going to use these JSB Jumbo. These are the Diablo Exacts. They're a 15.89 grain pellet. They're pretty good for testing, you know, out the velocities. Kind of a mid-weight pellet. So we'll give those a try, and we'll see how they shoot. Again, I haven't ran any of these over the chronograph, so I'm hoping they're in good shape. This is a much older RWS. It does have the T05 trigger, and yeah, I've had it for quite a while. But we'll run them over the chronograph, and we'll see what kind of numbers we get. Now, you know, there are kind of two types of chronographs. You have this one with the, I guess what these called, the curtains, lighted curtains, and then this one here is an X radar chronograph. This one reads up to 698 feet per second, and I believe these use like a Doppler radar, I believe. But I would suggest at least getting one. I mean, they do make two versions of this one. One only reads like 400 feet per second, but this one goes all the way up to 698. So we'll test them out, and we'll see what kind of numbers we get, and we'll see if I have some healthy air guns here. So the first air gun today I'm going to use is the CO2 powered Daisy Model 1200. This is an older one. I did do a review on this. Like I said, I found it sitting in my father-in-law's toolbox, and I have no idea how long it's been sitting in there. Probably well over 20 years. Had a CO2 cartridge still in it. I just put a fresh one in it. Seals are perfect. It holds CO2. There's no leaks. So we'll test this one out. It's been a little while since I had it, so you know it could have developed a problem since the last time I shot it until then. Fortunately, it hasn't developed a leak. So I'm just going to use the X-Radar chronograph on this. So cock this. It has the cocking lever underneath. BB's go in here into this little well. There's a little. I can't remember if you got to hold this up to cock it or hold it down. I forget. So we'll see. It's a load of BB. We will see. All right, let's try this first shot here. It does have a crossbolt safety. So first shot. That wasn't a load of BB, so you got to hold it up. You got to hold it up to cock. That way the BB falls into the chamber there. 468 feet per second. Like I say, you got to hold it up. .464. We'll do like 5 shots of each. Another 464. That's number 3. .460. Number 4. This is number 5. And another fish, 460. So it's safe to say there's no problems with this. Very good steady numbers. It is 4.5 millimeters BB, 12 gram CO2 cartridge. Seems to be shooting fine. Let's do. Next up, we'll use the Daisy Red Ryder. This is also a 4.5 millimeter steel BB repeater. It holds, I think, 300 BBs. There's a little well on this side. You can load them. But we're all familiar with the Red Ryder BB gun, aren't we? And then for this one, I will also use the X-Radar chronograph. It reads to 698, so it's plenty for this. Again, under lever. Just using Umarex steel BBs. This too has a crossbolt safety. Great beer and soda can plinker. So first shot. I'm thinking probably about the 200s with this. Probably upper 200s maybe. It's definitely a lower powered. Designed for backyard use. Rear eye protection so you don't shoot your eye out. 226. .232. .226. .228. Is that 3? 4. .230. I think this is 5. And another .226. So it's safe to say this baby, you know, well over 20 years. I believe I bought it in 2004. Actually, I think I bought this about 2004 is when I bought this. And it is performing perfectly. So no problems with it. Again, it's been sitting in the gun cabinet like this. So no problems at all. On to the next gun. Next up, the Stoeger X20. It's a spring piston, 22 caliber. It has been sitting a while in my gun cabinet, so I'm going to start off with this is a Cro-Magnum H&N. It's 18.21 grain. So I'm going to use this for the first shot to help control the dieseling. So, and then I'll switch to the jumbo exacts. We'll do 5 of these. So I'll just do 1, and then I'll do 5 of these, and then I'm gonna use one of these Gammo Raptor PBAs. These are those lightweight, high velocity pellets. So I mean, the claim FPS for this is 1,000 feet per second. With 22 caliber, you don't get nowhere near that with lead pellets. So if we're going to achieve that or close to it, it will be with one of these. So generally, I don't like using these in my springers. They're too light, and you know, it's probably not good for the piston. I mean, there is some resistance, but as light as they are, as long as they go in tight, it shouldn't be a problem. But if they're kind of loose, I wouldn't use one because of the piston slamming, you know, into the breech here. You know, it might not have enough cushion, and you know, it's kind of bad for your piston to slam like that. I mean, you're more or less kind of dry firing it, which is really bad for a screen piston. But yeah, we'll use the Stoeger, and then we'll go to the RWS Model 34 last. For this one, I'll be using my lower cost Amazon purchased chronograph. It seems to work pretty well. Let me get it turned on here. Turn the on switch on, and make sure you hit this what it shows FPS. That way it flashes and it locks in the feet per second. It's kind of blurry. Let me see if I can get better focus on this. I don't know if it's the lighting. Let me add another light. Maybe that will help. Try one of my magnetic flashlights here. That seemed to help. That's better. Alrighty. Again, the first shot will be with the 18 grain Cro-Magnum. That should help control any dieseling that we might have, due to the fact that it's been sitting in my gun cabinet. Alright. Try to get this just right so I don't hit my chronograph. I'm indoors. Alright. First shot. (612.9 feet per second). So with that, I had minimal dieseling effect. You know, it did it a little bit because I saw the smoke come out of the end. But next, we're gonna switch to the JSB Diablo Exact. I'm only going to shoot 3 of these, and then we'll go to the PBA. My apologies for the delay. All right. .65.3. So far, so good. Again, this is 22 caliber, 15.89 grain pellets. We're approaching 700. This is probably about the norm for this weight of pellet. Faster isn't always better when it comes to air guns. Shot number 3. 669.8. Alright. If we're going to get anywhere near the 1,000, it's going to be with one of these PBA Raptors. Forget what these are weighed in at for 22 caliber. I think they're about 10. Alright. Again, Gammo PBA Raptor. This should achieve the fastest velocity. It might be a little bit of a crack, but we'll see. 839.9. So nowhere near the 1,000 feet per second. I could try one more. I still have a few left, so I'm getting low. Gonna need some more. Let me target wise, you have better luck just throwing these at the target. But they are fun if you try to, want to try to achieve that higher velocities. 843. So again, even with the lightweight alloy, you're nowhere near the 1,000 feet per second as claimed by the box. All right, on to the RWS Model 34. All right, next Model 34 RWS or Diana. I took the scope off because it just, as high as it sits, I do not want to shoot my chronograph. So I'm gonna weigh one of these PVAs for you just so you get an idea what it weighs. So we're at 10.12 grains. So I was right about 10 grain. I'll write down these numbers and then I'll do all the foot pounds for you. 10.12 grain. And that way you can kind of get the foot pounds. I mean, a lot of you can do it yourself. Again, and here's the Cro Magnum. So 18.31, so 18.32. So it's right there where it's claimed. And then the 15.89 JSBs. So a little over that one, 16. It's about the same weight as a Predator, JSB Predator. So 15, 6. So these are actually 16. I mean, from JSB, I think they would be a little bit more QC. 15.92. So, yeah. But still, I would say closer to 16 grain. So we'll do those. So just thought I'd weigh the PVA so we get an idea of what they're weighing. With this, we may get closer. It has the longer barrel, so we may get closer to the 1,000 feet per second claim. I forget what this was claimed at, but it is 22 caliber. So I'm thinking mid to upper 600s with the heavier pellets, and then I think we'll break into the 7s. Maybe with the JSBs, but we'll see. Probably the 8s, maybe. I'm hoping with the PVAs. So, and again, we'll use this chronograph here. And another suggestion: get yourself a scale. Sorry about the focus. That way you can weigh your projectiles. That definitely helps. It kind of ties in with maintenance when you're trying to figure out the velocities and the health of your air guns. We turn our chronograph back on. I try to turn it off in between shooting sessions sometimes just to kind of help save the batteries. So again, it just powered by 4 AA batteries. So okay, the RWS Model 34. This has the T05 trigger. And again, first I will use a Cro Magnum 18.21 grain pellet. Should help with the dieseling. And I can kind of see the oils built up on around the seal and the O-ring here. This will be probably the slowest. Then again, the dieseling will help with velocities a little bit. It has a manual trigger. It's automatic. When you cock it, it automatically engages it. This does have the plastic safety. That model 52 that I had, the 25 caliber, still had the metal safety. All right, first shot. .709 point. That's with a heavy Cro Magnum. So, and I can smell the I can smell the diesel. Woo! I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can do it here. See the smoke? That's what you get from dieseling. So definitely use a heavier pellet when you're with your first shot to help control that. Now the JSBs. Again, 3 of those, and then I'll do 2 Gamo PBA Raptors. This is an untuned air rifle. A lot of people tune these. All right, 2 Gammo PBAs. This should put us over 800 feet per second. These should have been faster than the Gammo or the Cro-Magnon. I think I achieved that 700 feet per second because of the dieseling effect. I may try one more of those after this. All right, Gammo PBA. All right, let me try another Cro-Magnon real quick. All right, loading another Cro-Magnon. I don't think this will be in the 700s. Again, the dieseling effect caused it to probably shoot a little faster because it's definitely heavier than the JSB Diablos exact. 618, that's more of where it should be. So I would definitely say that's a healthy Springer. It's a little noisy. It probably could use a nice tune. Again, it has the older T05 trigger. It is nice wood stock, original. Got the hooded front sights. This doesn't have the inserts, and then adjustable rear sight here. I do have this. This isn't the original mount that came with it. This one compensates for the barrel droop. Your scope sits a little higher, but it brings the barrel droop. The point, it's supposed to compensate for that. This was originally for my Model 52 that I got. There's a little difference in these between the side levers and the brake barrels, but I've been using this one and it works pretty good. I am able to maintain a very good zero with it, so much better than the original scope mount that come with it. It has a little slot so you don't have to remove your screw in the back, and it has 3 screws on the side, so it locks real nice. I think it does have a locking pin, I think, but it really doesn't need it because it holds pretty tight. But I believe there's an Allen where you can lock that. And, there's that little notch in here where you can lock it even more. So pretty good mount setup there. So between my 2 Springers, I would definitely say these are healthy. They're shooting good. The feet per second are well. Again, we didn't get nowhere near the 1,000 feet per second is claimed by the box on this one. Everything else seemed to shoot well. The Daisy Model 1200, much older air pistol, CO2 powered, no problems at all. The Daisy Red Ryder, again, I'm not sure what the claimed FPS for these are. It's just a backyard kid's BB gun. Low, just under the mid 200s, so it seemed to be shooting well. It too is a spring piston, so many people forget that. But hey, 4 guns, 4 healthy guns, air guns, I should say. CO2, spring piston, spring piston, spring piston. BB, 22 caliber pellet, 22 caliber pellet, and a 4.5 millimeter BB. So, and using this curtain style chronograph and the X radar chronograph, we got pretty good velocity numbers. That shows that my seals are fine. Again, this could probably use a really good tune. It's original, just as I bought it years and years ago. You know, definitely over 15 years ago when I bought this. But hey, it's a workhorse. So anyhow, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something. I'm sure plenty of other air gunners have done videos such as this, but you know, I can't recommend. I can't recommend owning a chronograph any more than you know. Definitely suggest owning one of any kind. Even this lower budget one will definitely help you out, you know, especially maintenance wise. So again, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.